we are on to our 3 best core exercises. Again, we've been kind of sort of saying for Jiu Jitsu, but really it's for all martial artists, and frankly this one really branches out into basically anybody that's any type of athletic pursuit, any athletic endeavor, and frankly a lot of the stuff that we talk about is anti-sitting training. We're not designed as humans to sit at a desk all day, but we do it, right? So it's not particularly good for us, so let's talk about this a little bit. Up first, what I consider, like, if deadlifts are the mother of all total body leg exercises, then plank is the mother and base point everybody should be doing of a core exercise. It's pretty much the beginning of every warm-up, of every workout that I recommend. And it's only because it's one of the best ways to wake up a muscle group that is sort of involuntary. Like, you don't think about your heart, you don't control your heart rate. Your transverse abdominis, we have this internal weight belt, starts the spinal column, attaches pubic bone, comes up with the xiphoid process and lower ribs, and it pulls everything together. And one of the things we find in fitness is if people have back pains, very frequently their transverse is not doing the job it's supposed to be doing. So basic plank, both forearms are down. I'm going to look at my hands from here, knees locked out straight. You don't want to spike up, but if you're new, that might be a thing. So you want to keep your hips as flat as you can. Don't look down at your toes. You want to look at your hands. Now from here, pretend you're about to get punched in the stomach. What do? You squeeze, right? That's part of the plank. While you're squeezing, you're going to vacuum. Pull your belly button into your spinal column. Now once you get good at this and you can hold this for 60 seconds, we can start introducing variations. So I like a hip dip to get a little spinal rotation and abdominal work in there. But one of the best variations is you walk up to your hands, you walk back down to your forearms, and when you feel a little more advanced, and this is going to be tricky with socks on a slippery surface here, but you walk your hands out in what's called an inchworm. You hold at this extension for 10, 15 seconds, you walk it back, and you walk it back down. And all of these are killer core engagement exercises. So anytime you're getting a workout in, if it's total body, if it's just cardio, it doesn't particularly matter. Maybe this is just part of your wake-up routine to get the core going, to get the day going. It's a fantastic jumping off point. I believe you have number 2?
Yeah, so mine was bridges here and bridge rolls. So there's a couple different variations on our bridge rolls here. This is really good for our glutes as well as our core. In addition to some ground fighting specifically, this is a really good exercise to gain strength in those different areas. So our first variation is just that bridge straight up. I'm squeezing the core. As I'm squeezing my glutes, everything's engaged in here. The next variation is I'm trying to turn up and over on my shoulder here, keeping those hips up nice and high, as well as the same side. Obviously I have 2 sides, so doing that. The last variation, I'm going to kind of do like a quarter angle here, is going all the way over. So as I bridge my hips up, I'm up on that shoulder, and I turn and I rotate so that my body is nice and controlled the whole time, and I'm keeping those muscles engaged as I turn over. I'll do it again from this side here. As I bridge up, keeping everything engaged here, nice and control as I turn over. And the slower I do it, the better it's going to be for my core, my glutes, because I'm actually getting that engagement and that control. I can use momentum to get over, but that's not really what we're going after. We're going after trying to do slow, controlled movements here. Yep. So those are 3 variations on our bridge rolls, which is an excellent core exercise for Jiu Jitsu or athletic.
Very much so. And Jiu Jitsu is actually a core movement of ground escapes and ground fighting, so very useful there. Up next, so traditional sit-ups are not a bad exercise. Sometimes they get a lot of like, wow, you can cause a low back strain. If you're causing a low back strain during a traditional sit-up, you have other issues you have to deal with. What we're going to work on, though, is what I like to call Russian twist. So we're going to come into sometimes we call this a vacation chair position, or anybody that's at a belt test here at the Academy will recognize this, where I'm floating my knees towards my chest. Heels are off the ground, feet, knees close together. So traditional Russian twist a lot of people show is they leave the knees where they are and they rotate their upper body, their upper trunk. Love these at the rectus abdominis, again that transverse abdominis we talked about before, but you're getting your obliques and a lot of spinal column alignment all working at the same time. Once you kind of have that, what I really like to see people work on is pelvic approximation. Fancy term for getting onto your left butt cheek and getting onto your right butt cheek. A lot of people have a hard time with that one. It's a really, really useful, it kind of gives you a little bit of a good temperature check on how strong your core is. And when you get good at it, you can rotate the opposite direction. So as my hips are going left, my chest is going right, and vice versa, opposite direction, rotating through. Of course, typically when we do these in exercise class, we hold on to a dumbbell or a medicine ball, something that gives you sort of a counterbalance or a counterweight. Not because it necessarily makes it easier, but because it really pushes those obliques, that upper rectus abdominis, to really kind of challenge itself while you work through that rotation through the upper spine. So, killer exercise. I love everything that's efficient in terms of hitting all the core at the same time. Honorable mention?
Yep, so our honorable mention is called a sit through. This one you can add a couple of things to it, like a push-up, for example. So our basic sit through, I am going to be in that push-up position. My goal is to go underneath my body here. So I'm basically threading the needle from my toe to my hand with that other foot. All right. As I turn, I use that bridge my hips in here, and I can slide back underneath. A lot of times people come over. It's actually sliding underneath, like I'm sliding my knee against the floor and bridging that hip up and turning in. Something that I can certainly add is definitely a push-up into that sit through here. I can also add my push-up as I sit through and try to get that core action, chest, as well as hip rotation in there as well. So
a little harder.
Much harder to do that variation than push-up, then sit through. So those are a couple just different variations on our sit throughs.
Quick note, we are on Wednesday and we're doing core. We noticed that we get the most amount of viewers on Wednesdays, so we actually put the most important thing on Wednesdays. These are not sequential. Lower body was on Monday, really important. Upper body was on Tuesday, really important. But number 3, guys, everything starts from your core. I want you guys to think about the heart of a spider web. That's right here. In Japanese martial arts, they refer to it as your hara. 2 inches below your belly button is your center point. Turns out in anatomy, that's also your center of balance, your anatomical center point. But belly button 2 inches down kind of lines up with the top of the crest of the hip. And this is where you want to really start focusing from. Everything bleeds out from there. So if you've got, back, core, whatever pains, frequently knee pains are addressed by looking at the core. So don't underestimate just how important this stuff is. There's some inappropriate language in a story I could tell here, but I've run into more than a few guys at the gym. These guys, leg day, not so much, but upper body and really like that bench press thing. I love bench pressing too, but I've run into a few over the years who are like, well, I've hit my limit, I can't put up any more weight, what can I do? And I'm like, well, have you started looking at core stuff? Yeah, I don't do that blank stuff. Blank, I won't say the 2 words, but I don't do that blank bench stuff. Well, then you're probably at your limit. If you're not going to look at addressing instability, if you're not going to look at addressing where potential weaknesses are, you're probably at the limit of where you're going to grow and where your gains are going to stop. So really, really important, guys. And one thing that does not belong in either a gym or a martial arts school is your ego. If you're not willing to find your weaknesses and find your mistakes, you're probably going to cap out and tap out very quickly and very, very earnestly, shall we say. So 10 minutes in, usually about this time we get our bodies moving and warmed up. Did you have something else you wanted to add?
Nope.
As a hockey player, core is important, I'm sure.
Absolutely, yep.
All right, crew. Well, we're going to do a little bit of time here getting our bodies moving. I'm all sweaty because I just did my cardio this morning, which is lots of fun. Cardio to me is necessary evil, but it's important. So I'll get us moving here a little bit, yes?
Yep.
All right, little light running in place, guys. So with us, just knees up. Remember, these are light warm-ups. We're recording here at 7 a.m., so our thinking is most people are kind of getting their day going. Some people getting ready to go up to school. Let's go to jumping jacks if we can. If you're somewhere driving, you're in public, maybe you're brushing your teeth, obviously, guys, come back and revisit this later when you have an opportunity, okay? Let's go with some big forward shoulder rolls. I'll kind of focus on the upper body here. Breathe as you extend, and remember, I'm not swinging. I'm trying to reach my fingertips as far away from the center of my shoulder sockets as I can. Reverse that backwards. And one thing I like to do is I'll turn my palms each time. So forward on the first one, backwards on the next one, kind of neutral on the next one. Let's cross those up, right over left, left over right on the next one, breathing it out. For those who know, work on your deep breathing techniques, guys. Now's the time to start. Not at the end when we do our formal breathing. I'm breathing deep right now. I'm gonna extend over the top here, side to side. I'm trying to go flat like I'm going through a plane of glass, not rotating my spine. Slowly alternating out the other side. Opposite, nice and steady. Alternating it back and forth here. Good, I'm gonna come up to neutral. I'm gonna finish off the neck and then hand it off to Allison. So, neutral spinal alignment, guys. I want you to look up at the ceiling nice and slowly, and then down at the ground, chin to the chest. This is a cell phone position here, so back up, looking at the ceiling, and down, chin to the chest. All right, we're gonna come neutral. Turn left, hold left, and while you're holding full turn left, try to look up and down. So you're going to feel those muscles on the back side of the left side of your neck kind of engaging. That's what we're looking for. A great little way to work out kinks in the neck here in the morning. Good. Back to neutral. Let's go right side. Same deal while holding right up and down, nice and steady. Good. Last one for the neck. Big roll. Slow. Working on range of motion. Nice and slow, nice and steady. One big circle to start off with. We'll go one more round and we'll reverse the direction. And opposite direction, go. Breathing through the motions, nice and controlled. And Ms. Manzella.
All right, so we're gonna try and take our right knee across to the middle here with our left knee. I'm gonna just do a couple here.
Alternate.
And then, yeah, we're gonna alternate left and right side. I'm gonna do a couple leg warm-ups or hip warm-ups here. Good, now we're gonna take that knee, we're gonna make a big circle, and then when we finish that circle, we're gonna come to the inside. We're gonna stay with the same knee for now. Good, and switch knees. Good, we'll do one more big hip rotations here. Really work on extending that lumbar spine.
As resident old guy, working on hip stuff every day is always awesome.
Good, other direction.
There's no bad moment in time to work on engaging and loosening up those hips.
All right, you guys can take a nice steady position here, whether you're sitting, kneeling, crisscross, chest is up, and we are working on our controlled breathing here. We're gonna do what's called a box breathing technique. We breathe in through the nose for 4. We hold and push the air down in our lungs for 4, like a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. We breathe out through our mouth for a 4 count, and then we hold with no air in our lungs for a 4 count. You guys repeat this here, and our goal is to only think about our breathing, nothing else. This is a relaxation or de-stress technique that you can use throughout the day. Sometimes on like a busy day, I'll take like 3 minutes and just work on breathing, just working on that counting, that cadence, and it really helps just kind of reset my brain. Or if I feel too overwhelmed, I'll take a couple seconds, close my eyes, really work on that breathing, so that way when I do relax or do think about what's next, it's not so overwhelming. A lot of us do have a ton of stimulus coming at us at the same time, whether it's with work, kids, their school, whatever it may be. Work on controlling your breathing, as well as taking literally a few seconds just to take a couple deep breaths, and I promise you, it'll be a little bit of a reset. You can get your to-do list reorganized, things like that. All right, and as always, one big breath in and out.
All right, guys, well, here locally in Natick, it's Wednesday, so we have our on-demand kickboxing class, technically formally 9 a.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., but if you're available throughout the course of the day, you want to come in at 1 o'clock, hit your workout, we got you set up, so just let us know. Again, please don't surprise us. We just want to set it up for you, make sure everything is all arranged. For our Jiu-Jitsu classes, we've got our kids and juniors. These are our socially distanced classes, so physically here at the academy, but space in between everybody. Bags all set up, lots of fun. So that's 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 5 o'clock. Also presented on Zoom if you want to follow along at home, always welcome. And then our Jiu-Jitsu classes for adults, potted up tonight. We got 4, 3, 2, 1. That's the way I remember Wednesdays. So our 6 o'clock pods 3 and 4, 7:15 pods 1 and 2. I think pod 1 and 2 second class might be pretty close to full. So if you haven't registered yet, guys, for that class, make sure you check it adults. Okay. Do we have a dad joke ready?
I do.
Oh, we have a dad joke ready, boys and girls.
Why couldn't the bicycle stand up on its own?
Kickstand?
It was too tired.
Oh my God! Oh, that's like you get hit in the head with a pillow after something like that. That was bad. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys very much for joining us. As always, on Facebook, on Instagram, give us a like. Shout us out. I don't know. Whatever. What do people do on Instagram?
I have absolutely no idea.
Me neither. All right, guys. But thank you guys very much for joining us.